Over 30% of synthetic oil sold online is either counterfeit or doesn't meet the spec on the label, yet drivers keep trusting brand names. Today, I'll show you 9 best synthetic oils and 5 that will destroy your engine. Stay till the end, because I'll reveal the one choice that outperforms every premium brand, something most mechanics use but never tell customers. Let's get straight to it. Starting at number 9, SuperTech Synthetic. Walk into any shop that services fleet vehicles, and you'll notice something interesting. The owner's using Walmart's SuperTech Synthetic in half the trucks that come through. Not because it's cheap, because it works. That $18 jug is manufactured by Warren Distribution, the same contractor supplying oils that sell for $45 under different labels. Same API certification, same base stock quality. Yet drivers spend triple on brands they saw on TV, assuming store brands cut corners. Here's what matters. Your oil needs to meet your vehicle's required specification. If your manual calls for API SP with ILSAC GF6, any oil carrying that certification protects identically under normal driving. I've seen used oil analysis from SuperTech showing the same wear metals as oils costing 3 times more. The difference isn't protection, it's marketing budget. SuperTech isn't magic. It meets the minimum spec your engine requires, which is what most engines need. If you're running a 2018 Camry with regular 5,000-mile changes, SuperTech protects that engine as well as any premium brand. The savings don't come from inferior protection. They come from no advertising campaigns or fancy bottles. The oil industry sells perception as much as product. SuperTech proves meeting the spec matters more than the name. For daily drivers with regular maintenance, that's adequate protection. But base stock quality is only half the story. Coming in at number 8, Pennzoil Platinum. Your engine's running 220 degrees under the hood. Higher if you've got a turbo or you're sitting in traffic. At those temperatures, conventional base stocks start breaking down, leaving deposits on your pistons and valves. That's where Pennzoil Platinum becomes relevant, and most mechanics overlook it because the marketing focuses on emissions instead of what's actually happening inside your engine. Pennzoil uses gas-to-liquid base stock. Instead of refining crude oil, they convert natural gas into a synthetic base that's molecularly uniform. No impurities, no inconsistent molecules that break down at different rates. In engines with direct injection or turbocharging, that chemistry makes a measurable difference. I've opened up engines with over 200,000 miles running exclusively on Pennzoil Platinum. The pistons looked like they had 60,000 miles on them. This isn't about boutique formulations or paying for features you don't need. It's about understanding when chemistry matters. If you've got a modern GDI engine, those injectors are spraying fuel directly onto your pistons. Any oil that makes it past your rings is getting cooked onto metal surfaces. A cleaner base stock means fewer deposits, which means your engine maintains compression and doesn't develop the carbon buildup that kills so many modern engines early. The difference shows up around 100,000 miles. Engines on conventional synthetics start showing valve deposits and compression loss. Engines on GTL base stock stay cleaner longer. That's not marketing. That's what happens when you use a more uniform base oil in high heat applications. What most people miss is that base stock is only part of the equation. At number 7, we have Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic. I see this constantly. Someone buys full synthetic, assuming every bottle protects the same way. Then their 2008 Silverado with a flat tappet cam starts showing lifter noise at 90,000 miles. The oil met modern specs. It just didn't have what their older engine needed. Valvoline's Advanced line, particularly high mileage, uses higher zinc and phosphorus than most modern synthetics. That matters because flat tappet cams and older valve trains need extra anti-wear protection. Modern oils reduce these additives to protect catalytic converters. Great for new engines. Not ideal for anything built before 2010 or performance engines with aggressive cams. If you've got an older engine or performance work, those ZDDP levels make the difference between 150,000 miles and lifter replacement at 90,000. I've rebuilt engines where the only problem was inadequate anti-wear additives. Bearings were fine, cylinders good, but cam lobes were wiped because someone used oil formulated for engine designs that didn't exist when theirs was built. Understanding your engine's requirements matters more than trusting brand names. Valvoline didn't reduce ZDDP in every formulation, because not every engine needs catalytic converter-friendly chemistry. Some need old-school protection. Most owners don't know their engine's valve train design. They see synthetic and assume that's enough. If you've got an engine built before variable valve timing became standard, verify your oil has adequate zinc. Valvoline's high mileage provides that without requiring diesel oil or additives. But additives only matter if they're matched to your application. If you want to avoid making expensive oil choices that cost you thousands in repairs, hit subscribe. And where you're just paying for a label. Number 6 on the list, Castrol Edge. Castrol's marketing will tell you their titanium FST technology creates a protective film that reduces friction beyond what standard synthetics can achieve. They're not completely wrong. Independent tribology testing confirms their additive creates measurable friction reduction under extreme pressure. The question is whether your engine ever actually experiences those conditions. If you're running a stock commuter car in normal driving, you're not generating the bearing loads or temperatures where Castrol Edge's chemistry provides meaningful advantage over a quality synthetic meeting the same spec. But if you're towing, running a turbocharged engine hard, or operating a commercial vehicle under constant load, that additive package starts earning its premium price. I've seen this play out in high-mileage tow vehicles. Engines running standard synthetic show-bearing wear patterns consistent with the loads they're under. Same engines on Castrol Edge show measurably less wear in the same time frame. The difference isn't dramatic in a sedan making grocery runs. It's significant in a diesel truck pulling 10,000 pounds up grades in 95-degree heat. The mistake people make is assuming premium chemistry automatically means better protection for every application. It doesn't. If your engine never sees extreme loads, you're paying for capabilities you're not using. But if you're regularly pushing your engine to its design limits, this is where chemistry actually earns its cost. Understanding when premium additives matter saves you from both overspending on features you don't need and underprotecting an engine that actually requires them. Most engines fall into the first category. Some genuinely benefit from the second. Speaking of paying for capabilities you might not need, extended drain intervals create their own set of questions. Landing at number 5, Mobil 1 Extended Performance. Every week, someone asks if they can really run 15,000 miles on synthetic. The answer depends on which synthetic and what conditions. Mobil 1 Extended Performance isn't standard Mobil 1, yet people constantly confuse them. Extended Performance uses higher additive reserves, more detergents, more antioxidants, chemistry designed to maintain total base number longer than conventional synthetics. As oil ages, its ability to neutralize combustion acids decreases. Standard synthetics start losing effectiveness around 7,500 to 10,000 miles. Extended Performance maintains protection longer, but only in conditions supporting extended drains. Here's where people go wrong. They hear 15,000 mile oil and think that applies universally. It doesn't. Extended intervals require predominantly highway miles, functioning emissions equipment, and proper PCV operation. Short trips, stop-and-go traffic, or oil consumption between changes mean those intervals don't apply. You're asking oil to do more than its chemistry can handle. I've analyzed Extended Performance at 15,000 miles in highway-driven vehicles, where metal's acceptable, TBN still protective, viscosity intact. Same oil in city-driven vehicles with 10-minute commutes shows different results. Higher fuel dilution, accelerated oxidation, additive depletion making 15,000 miles a gamble. The capability exists. The question is whether your driving profile allows using it. Most people's habits don't support 15,000 mile intervals regardless of oil. If you're convinced yours does, used oil analysis is the only way to know. Until then, assuming extended drains are safe without verification is hoping chemistry overcomes conditions. But formulation specificity goes beyond drain intervals. At number 4, Liqui Moly. Someone brings in their 2019 Volkswagen GTI for an oil change and asks why their owner's manual specifies VW 500400 certification. They figure any synthetic that says it's for European vehicles is close enough. It isn't. That certification means the oil was tested in VW's engines, with VW's emission equipment, under VW's operating conditions. Meeting that spec isn't optional if you want proper protection. Liqui Moly formulates specifically for these requirements. Different seal compatibility, different friction modifiers, different viscosity characteristics than oils designed for American engines. European engines generally run tighter tolerances and rely on specific additive chemistry for their variable valve timing systems. Using an oil that wasn't formulated for those requirements means you're protecting your engine with chemistry that wasn't designed for how it operates. I've seen timing chain tensioner failures in BMWs and VWs, where the common factor was using synthetic oil that didn't carry the manufacturer's required approval. The oil met API standards. It was quality synthetic, but it lacked the specific friction modifiers those engines' timing systems depend on. The result was accelerated wear in components that should last 200,000 miles. This extends beyond European vehicles. Modern Hondas and Mazdas have manufacturer-specific requirements because their engines were designed around particular oil characteristics. Using good oil that doesn't meet those specifications means you're approximating protection rather than providing what the engine was engineered to use. If your owner's manual lists a manufacturer approval like BMW LL01, Mercedes 229.5, or Honda HT006, that's not a suggestion. That's the specification your engine's warranty depends on. Liqui Moly is one of the few brands consistently carrying multiple OEM approvals because they formulate for engines as designed, not engines as averaged. Following your manual matters more than choosing the most expensive oil on the shelf, but even expensive oils can fail if they don't match your engine's requirements. Still, matching spec is different from exceeding it in meaningful ways. Coming in at number 3, Royal Purple. You modify your engine. Aftermarket camshaft, upgraded valve springs, higher compression pistons. Suddenly, the oil that was fine for stock operation isn't adequate for the loads you're generating. That's where Royal Purple's chemistry becomes relevant, and why it's simultaneously overpriced for stock engines and appropriately priced for modified ones. Royal Purple's additive package is formulated for higher stress applications, more anti-wear chemistry, higher film strength, additive reserves, protecting under conditions most oils weren't designed for. If you're running stock power, you're paying for protection exceeding what your engine requires. But if you've changed your engine's operating parameters, that extra protection becomes the difference between lasting and failing early. Track day engines, modified trucks, performance builds. These applications generate loads outside parameters engine designers originally intended. Standard synthetic formulated for factory specifications isn't engineered for those conditions. Royal Purple's chemistry is specifically designed for engines operating beyond stock parameters. Enthusiasts assume expensive automatically means necessary. For stock engines, Royal Purple is premium protection you don't need. For modified engines, it's appropriate insurance against increased wear from loads the manufacturer never tested for. If you haven't changed your engine's design, Royal Purple costs more than you benefit from. If you have, it's money spent on protection matched to what you've built. However, extended protection and modified engines still follow the same fundamental rule. Number 2, AMSOIL Signature Series. The conversation around AMSOIL gets clouded by multi-level marketing and extreme drain interval claims. Strip that away and focus on what the oil does. Signature Series consistently tests at or above factory fill quality in extended drain analysis. That's not marketing. That's what happens with Group I VUI and Group 5 base stocks with high additive reserves. Independent used oil analysis shows AMSOIL maintaining protective additive levels and acceptable wear metals past 20,000 miles in suitable conditions. The chemistry supports their claims. The question isn't whether the oil can last. It's whether your driving conditions and maintenance practices allow taking advantage of that capability. Extended drains require verification through oil analysis. Period. No brand, including AMSOIL, should be trusted on drain intervals without testing your specific oil in your specific engine under your specific conditions. The chemistry exists to support long intervals. Whether your situation allows it requires confirmation, not faith. I've seen AMSOIL protected engines at 150,000 miles looking better internally than engines at 80,000 on standard synthetics with identical maintenance intervals. I've also seen engines damaged because someone someone assumed the oil's capability eliminated monitoring consumption, checking leaks, or paying attention to how their engine operated. Premium oil doesn't eliminate maintenance vigilance. It provides wider protection margin, but that margin has limits. If you're using Signature Series, you're buying legitimate premium chemistry. If you're using it as an excuse to ignore basic maintenance awareness, you're wasting money on protection you're undermining through neglect. True premium exists. Understanding when you need it matters more than assuming expensive equals better. But there's one option that outperforms even the most expensive boutique brands. And at number 1, OEM branded synthetic. The best oil for your engine is the one your manufacturer specifies, not the most expensive, not the boutique brand with the most aggressive marketing, the actual oil engineered for your specific engine design. Modern engines aren't generic platforms where any quality synthetic provides equivalent protection. They're designed around specific friction modifiers, detergent packages, and viscosity characteristics that off-the-shelf oils approximate but don't perfectly match. Toyota's 0W16 specification exists because their engineers designed engines with bearing clearances and friction characteristics that require that specific viscosity and additive chemistry. Honda's HTO06 requirement exists because their variable valve timing systems need particular friction modifiers. Subaru's 0W20 specification exists because their horizontally opposed engines have unique oiling requirements. When you use aftermarket synthetic that meets these specifications, you're using oil that passes the minimum requirements. When you use OEM branded oil, you're using the formulation the engine was actually tested with. In many cases, that OEM oil is contracted from manufacturers like Idemitsu, ExxonMobil, or Pennzoil, but it's formulated to the automaker's exact specifications, not approximated to meet minimum standards. Forum experts will argue about which brand is best, comparing boutique synthetics and debating additive packages. Meanwhile, warranty claims get denied because someone used premium oil that didn't carry the manufacturer's required certification. The irony is the driver spent more money on better protection while actually voiding their warranty coverage. If your vehicle is under warranty, if your engine uses an unusual viscosity like 0W16 or 0W8, if your manufacturer lists specific approvals beyond API standards, using OEM oil isn't playing it safe. It's using the oil your engine was designed around. That matters more than any other factor in oil selection. Boutique brands serve niche applications. For most engines, following the manual and using manufacturer-specified oil provides better protection than expensive alternatives because it's matched to your engine as built, not engines as averaged across all designs. Now that you understand what actually protects engines, here's what destroys them. Starting with number 5 on the worst list, Quaker State Ultimate Durability. Quaker State's name carries legacy recognition. Drivers remember it from decades ago and assume that reputation still holds. The brand's current performance tells a different story. Since Shell's acquisition, their Ultimate Durability line shows inconsistent results across production batches. Some bottles test within specifications. Others come back from used oil analysis, showing additive levels below what the label claims. Quality control inconsistency is worse than consistently mediocre performance. If oil performs at a known level, you can make informed decisions. If performance varies by batch, you're gambling every time you buy a bottle. That's exactly what independent testing reveals about Quaker State's current production. I've seen identical engines, identical maintenance schedules, identical driving conditions show completely different wear patterns based solely on which batch of Quaker State they were using. One engine runs clean to 120,000 miles. Another shows accelerated wear and deposits at 70,000. The only variable was which month the oil was manufactured. This isn't about Quaker State being universally terrible. It's about unpredictable quality, making it unsuitable for critical applications. If you can't trust that every bottle meets the same standard, you can't trust the oil for long-term engine protection. Spotty quality control means you're hoping you got a good batch, rather than knowing you have proper protection. For the same price, you can buy oil with consistent quality from the brands we covered earlier. Paying Quaker State's prices for unpredictable performance makes no sense when reliable alternatives exist at comparable or lower cost. But inconsistent quality is still better than outright deception. At number 4, synthetic blend mislabeling. The label says full synthetic. The bottle costs synthetic prices. The chemistry inside is Group 3 mineral oil that legally qualifies as synthetic after a 1999 court decision, not the Group 4 PAO or Group 5 ester-based synthetics you think you're buying. Several major brands exploit this loophole, selling enhanced conventional oil as premium synthetic. Group 3 oils are highly refined petroleum products. They perform better than conventional oil, but they're not synthetic in the original sense of the term. True synthetics use base stocks that are chemically engineered, not refined from crude. The difference matters in extreme conditions where base stock chemistry determines how oil performs under heat and pressure. The industry's legal definition of synthetic allows this mislabeling. As a consumer, you're paying $40 for enhanced conventional oil while thinking you bought engineered synthetic. The brands doing this aren't technically lying. They're exploiting terminology most people don't understand. If you want actual synthetic base stock, look for Group IV or PAO on the label. If those terms don't appear, assume you're buying refined petroleum regardless of what the marketing claims. For most applications, Group 3 performs adequately, but you shouldn't pay premium synthetic prices for chemistry that's closer to high-quality conventional. This matters especially if you're running extended drain intervals or operating in extreme conditions where true synthetic chemistry provides actual advantage. If you're paying for PAO-based synthetic and getting refined conventional, you're not getting the protection you paid for when conditions stress your oil. The mislabeling is legal. That doesn't make it honest, but at least these oils still meet basic protection standards. Some oils provide no protection at all. Coming in at number 3, Amazon Basics Full Synthetic. Walmart's SuperTech works because Warren Distribution manufactures it using known standards and proper quality control. Amazon's house brand oil has no such transparency. Unknown sourcing, no information about manufacturing origin, no third-party verification of claims, just a low price, and Amazon's logo on the bottle. Independent testing shows Amazon Basics barely meeting minimum API specifications with minimal additive reserves, where metal analysis from engines using it reveals higher bearing wear than budget oils with verified sourcing. Oxidation resistance tests show it breaking down faster than oils costing the same price from known manufacturers. This isn't about expecting premium performance from budget oil, it's about getting questionable protection from oil with opaque origins. SuperTech costs the same and comes from a manufacturer with known quality control. Amazon Basics saves you nothing while providing inferior protection from unknown sources. The risk isn't just poor performance, it's complete uncertainty about what you're putting in your engine. Without manufacturing transparency, you can't verify that what's in the bottle matches what's on the label. For newer vehicles with tight tolerances or engines you plan to keep long-term, that uncertainty is false economy. If you're buying oil strictly on price, SuperTech provides known quality. Amazon Basics provides unknown risk. The money you save isn't worth the protection you're gambling with, but at least Amazon Basics is sold as cheap oil. The real problem is expensive oil that fails to meet your engine's requirements. Number 2 on the worst list, any oil not meeting your OEM spec. The second worst oil is whatever premium synthetic you bought that doesn't meet your engine's actual specification. It doesn't matter if it's Mobil 1, Castrol, or Amsoil. If it lacks your required certification, you're using wrong protection regardless of quality. Modern engines specify oil for engineering reasons, not marketing. GM's Dexos exists because their engines need specific friction modifiers for variable valve timing and active fuel management. Using quality synthetic without Dexos means you're missing chemistry those systems depend on. The result is timing chain stretch, lifter failures, and denied warranty claims because you used unapproved oil. Mazda's Skyactiv engines require specific chemistry for their compression ratios and direct injection. Using 5W30 when the engine specifies 0W20 causes piston ring land deposits, leading to compression loss and oil consumption. The oil might be premium quality. It's wrong quality for that engine design. I've rebuilt engines destroyed by wrong spec oil where owners insisted they used the best synthetic. They used quality oil formulated for different engine requirements than theirs. The best oil provides zero protection if it doesn't meet your specifications. Your manual lists specific certifications for engineering reasons. Using oil without those approvals means approximating protection instead of providing what your engine needs. Before buying any oil, verify it carries your required specifications. Premium price without proper certification is wasted money on incorrect protection. Still, wrong oil is better than fake oil, and the worst worst oil you can use, counterfeit or gray market name brand oil. The worst oil you can put in your engine is fake Mobil 1, Castrol, or Shell Rotella, sold through unauthorized sellers. Bottles that look genuine but contain anything from mislabeled conventional oil to contaminated industrial fluid. Online marketplaces and gray market retailers sell this constantly, and sophisticated counterfeiting makes packaging nearly impossible to distinguish from legitimate product. I've torn down engines destroyed by counterfeit oil, metal particulate in fluid, wrong viscosity despite correct labeling, contamination suggesting oil came from reprocessed industrial stock. Bottles looked perfect, seals appeared intact, product bore no relation to label claims. This isn't theoretical risk, it's documented reality. Oil counterfeiting is widespread because profits are high and detection difficult until catastrophic failure. Buying from unauthorized sellers, third-party marketplace vendors, or suspiciously cheap retail means gambling on whether oil is genuine. Damage isn't gradual wear, showing at 150,000 miles. It's immediate bearing failure, scored cylinders, destroyed turbos. Engines that should last 200,000 miles fail at 40,000 because oil provided zero protection despite perfect labeling. Verification requires buying from authorized retailers, major auto parts chains, direct from manufacturer, or sellers verifiable through the brand's website. If price seems too good, if seller isn't authorized, if you're buying oil like any other Amazon commodity, you're risking counterfeit product. No engine survives on fake oil, regardless of bottle claims. Cost savings from gray market oil becomes engine replacement when that oil proves fraudulent. Proper sourcing matters more than brand selection because even best oil doesn't protect if it's fake. The oil you choose matters less than matching it to your engine specifications and verifying it's genuine. Follow your manual, buy from authorized sellers, and understand when premium chemistry actually benefits your application. That's how engines last 200,000 miles instead of failing at 80,000.